There were lots of positive developments involving human trafficking litigation this week, and joining me to talk about this is Carissa Phelps. Carissa, you might not remember, but the first time you and I met and we started talking about human trafficking, my theory was you have to go to where the money is. I said you got to go to the hotels, you got to go to Wall Street, and you have to go to the credit cards that make all this happen. Big victory, and you have been working this case for, years now. What I love about it is every now and then the good guys win. That's the case here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what happened.
Well, a judge's ruling said, Visa, you're going to stay in. You're going to be accountable for your actions to a victim, and that's Serena Flates. I hope I'm saying her name correctly, but
Yep.
she's not our client particularly, but we're behind this case. We really support it. We have a common defendant, and we're really excited that the judge is seeing it too, that these businesses don't exist alone. They get support.
Right. In other words, porn, whether it's MindGeek, which is one of the biggest porn distributors in the world, whether this is the Girl Do Porn, okay, that's the site. And they found out that they had just underage kids, and they knew they were underage. They were doing films in hotel rooms, and the hotel that was where it was taking place, they knew the kids were underage. They saw cameras coming up, they saw lights, they're filming movies. And so Visa pays for all this. None of this happens unless somebody can use a transactional implement, which is Visa card.
Well, we're combining the two cases, but we have this ecosystem that exists to support the industry of commercial sexual exploitation. Somebody doesn't just get exploited and that get marketed without the help of so many businesses, payment processors, lighting equipment, like you said, location services, and then the web hosting and all of that too. So what this judge is saying in the Flatus cases, in the civil cases, you're going to be accountable. And not only that, but the more you know, the more you're going to be accountable, as it should be, right?
In the cases that you're working, and you're working some interesting cases, you're handling part of the trucking case that got my attention initially when you started talking to us about this law firm handling these cases. But that's where they put girls in 18-wheelers in California, and they bring them across the country, and they're all along the way, they're stopping at truck stops. And they're saying, hey, we've got a carload full of underage girls, meet us at the truck stop, have sex with them, and go home. That's pretty ugly stuff. But the public doesn't understand that in order for that to happen, there's trucking companies, there's credit cards, there's hotel rooms, there's truck stops that allow it to happen. All of it is part, as you point out, it's part of an ecosystem, isn't it?
Right. And the really frightening thing is the data now, the way that we stream data and the way that trafficking is happening over this last 2-year period with all the lockdowns and everything we've experienced, traffickers have stepped up their way of exploiting and making money. And so we see victims contacting us that are on these webcamming sites. We won't name all of them because they haven't been named yet. But exactly what you're talking about is happening now over the internet, And in a way, sometimes it's more exploitive because it's happening over and over and over again over these videos, right? It's not just one time being sold, not that is bad enough. That is bad enough, speaking from my own personal experience. Even one time being sold is bad enough. But to have that repeated again and again and again on video and to not have the ability to take that down or take that off of the web, and not have people accountable is horrendous.
Before you went to MBA school, before you went to law school and got your degree, you were trafficked. This is material that you're really familiar with. And I know when you talk to me about it, the thing that strikes me most is this is a commodity that's a reusable commodity. If somebody's selling drugs, they sell cocaine one time, that's the one time they can sell it. If they're selling 14, 15, 16-year-old girls, they sell them again and again and again. So the other thing, I don't think we can end this show without talking about MindGeek. I just have to.
Right.
The first time you and I talked about MindGeek, you had given me the connections to Wall Street. You had said, Pap, take a look at these connections, and we did. We looked at the connections, and we found that a company like MindGeek, which is a Canadian company, they were actually being investigated by Parliament, right?
Yes.
And they were the ones that were calling traffickers saying, do you have a 14-year-old girl you can rape in a hotel room and then send us the film? Pick it up from there.
Well, it doesn't even require a phone call anymore. That's the problem, is that this is exponential, right? They know what's going to hit on their site and what search terms to use, not just to create more users so they could have more advertising revenue, but also because they want to develop these patterns of kind of addiction to the pornography that they can then get more users watching more of the time and make more revenue for themselves.
Carissa, when we brought you on as a partner in our law firm, the vision that you had was we have to stop the trafficking issue by taking the money away.
Yes.
This Visa card issue is one of those steps. The hotel cases that you're already winning, that's part of the step. The Wall Street connection with some of the biggest funds in Wall Street, that's the connection. It's amazing what we've accomplished with your theories just in about 2 years.
And there's so much more to
There's
come.
a lot more to go. Thank you for joining me, okay?
Thanks, Pat.
That's all for this week, but all these segments are going to be available this coming week right here on this channel. And you can follow us on Twitter at America's Lawyer. I'm Mike Papantonio, and this is America's Lawyer, where every week we tell you stories that corporate media just refuse to tell because their advertisers won't let them tell those stories, or their political connections won't allow for it. They're too connected to a particular political party, so you don't hear these stories. We're never going to have that problem, so we'll see you next time.